TimeClick 18.300 offers a solution to those businesses with employees working shifts across midnight. Before we jump into TimeClick settings, I'll give you a brief rundown of the federal overtime laws. The Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, states that an employee's workweek must be a fixed, regularly recurring period of 168 hours. This week of 7 24-hour days can be different for different employees and doesn't always have to align with the calendar workweek or begin and end at midnight. You just need to make sure the workweek assigned to an employee stays consistent. Changing the workweek frequently to avoid overtime wages results in a failure to comply with the overtime law, so if you need to make changes in an employee's workweek, make sure it's the most fitting long-term schedule and you don't change it frequently. With that said, let's jump into TimeClick settings and an example for adjusting the time an employee's workweek starts for those with consistent, unique, or over midnight shifts. In admin mode, navigate to Employees, enter an employee's record, then go to the Clock Schedule tab. On the right side, you'll see Advanced Settings with Set Period Cutoff Time, used for totals and OT calculations, or something similar. For example, let's say Evan works from about 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. on almost every shift and rarely, if ever, past 4 a.m. I'm going to set his midnight time as 4 o'clock a.m., so the cutoff time for his day and week is at 4 a.m. rather than 12 a.m. Based on the day my overtime calculation week starts in Preferences, his work week right now is Sunday at 4 a.m. to Sunday at 4 a.m. This is the 168-hour period we will use to calculate his weekly regular and overtime hours. The overtime calculations come out clean and correct if the clock-ins and outs fall within the 24 hours between 4 a.m. on one day and 4 a.m. on the next. In other words, the hours and overtime calculations will look and behave like any normal shift on the reports. When I open his report from the Report Center, you'll see his clock in at 7 p.m. To the right, you'll see the grayed out 3 a.m. clock out this clock in belongs to. We see that he had an unpaid break in the middle of his shift, and his official clock out did in fact occur at 3 a.m. with a grayed out 7 p.m. to show again that the two are associated with each other. His total is shown here. With his personal midnight cutoff at 4 a.m., he won't have an awkward gap in his clock actions when it is 12 a.m. And if this is his regular, consistent work week, him and the employer are complying with the overtime calculation law in this regard. Do note that for the August 2018 release of TimeClick 18, the modified times window will show that there's a missing clock out error for an evening clock in for cross midnight shifts. As long as you have the period cutoff time set after midnight and after the time the employee clocks out regularly, the report run in the Report Center will pick up the clock out the next morning and show that there are no errors. Again, remember to stay consistent with the schedule after you've changed it to the best fitting work week for your employees.